Hey guys, I wanted to make a video real quick talking about my Tracker Dan knives. I own two. This one right here, the bigger one, is called the Battle Shark, which is I think the longest and biggest blade he makes, and then I have the Snuggler, which is the smallest knife he makes. If you don't know about Dan, he's a Navy SEAL who once he joined the Navy SEALs would help people modify their sheaths and make them more slim, and he would do this by cutting off the edges and then sewing around it with wire to make them as slim as possible and to cut down on weight and stuff like that. And eventually he got asked to make a lot of sheaths for the various people in his team and that he was working with, and it evolved into him making blades, which his first blade was the Blood Shark, which is he's most known for. But I don't have those. These I ended up getting these because I just stayed in really good contact with them, and these were just ones that are newer designs and that didn't have lists that were 2 years long quite yet, so I was able to snag these. And this one right here is the second one I got. I actually just got this today, and I filmed the other video I'm gonna post, so it could really be documented how pretty it is before I begin using it and get it all beat up. But this is a Battle Shark, and it's the biggest one he makes. This one has a swedge that goes all the way down, and normally they'll stop about here for the ones that people will be getting on the list and things like that. This one's a little special, and it has a double ridge wrapped handle with a lot thicker cord than he normally uses. And at first when I saw this, I thought it'd be very uncomfortable, but it is very, very comfortable in the hand. I was very surprised at how comfortable it is, and very happy with it actually. The sheath is very, very good. I thought seeing pictures of this that'd be very big and bulky, but it snaps in and it's very, very tight. This blade isn't going anywhere, and like I mentioned earlier, you can put it in either way if you're in a pinch. He designed this blade mostly to be a very, very heavy use knife. It's actually kind of opposite of what he normally makes. His Blood Shark is a very small and thin knife, and he talks a lot about how the main use of a knife and you know, his use in the military is just to cut himself free, or to cut someone free, or cut something really quickly. He's not necessarily using the knives for self-defense, even though they can be used and they will go through someone really easy. He normally makes them really nice and thin, and that doesn't mean that they aren't strong in any way, shape, or form, but he makes them nice and thin so they're very slicey and very easy to put away, and that's why the sheath is ambidextrous. But this blade was made for a beater. The original Battle Shark was actually just a longer Blood Shark, just as thin and very slicey, but this one is a lot thicker behind the edge, but that doesn't mean that it isn't sharp. It's not as thick as some other blades I've seen kind of go for the same thing, which are this very thick, heavy use knife, and other blades can be unwieldy and heavy, and this is not heavy in any way, shape, or form. I can't wait to get used to it, and this is just first impressions from it. I haven't owned this one for a while. About a year ago, actually, my first blade from Dan was this little tiny knife, and it's called the Snuggler. And he made this one because he used to wear neck knives, like very small neck knives that are like this size. And then he, I guess, found a picture of them, of one, and was like, oh, I haven't used that in a while, blades like that. So then he designed this, which is a very, very tiny little blade. Fits very well, and it's perfect. Like, when I first saw this too, I kind of figured, oh, that'd be a little weird to use, but it does fit perfectly for the use that you'd be using it for, and you're going to be using this to like cut small things, you know, cut little rope. And I think that, like, for the average person that's not, in the military or outdoors a lot and is just going to a normal job, I think this is like almost the perfect knife for that. And that's what I've been using it for. I go camping, I got this, and I was able to use this hiking before and backpacking, and it's very good for most tasks that you actually use a knife for, which aren't these big, you know, bushcrafty type things. You're mostly using a knife to cut small things and get a hold free. And he made these clips by hand. I don't know if he's making the snugglers anymore with the ambidextrous. The last snugglers I've seen are the taco sheaths. So I am kind of worried that if this sheath breaks, I hope he still makes these, even though I've never really heard of anyone's sheaths breaking before. But he bent this titanium and made these custom clips himself, and because this was a very first production version of the snuggler, I don't think he had molds made for sheaths yet for these, so I think the sheaths were all handmade too. And I use this knife every day, and it holds the edge very well, and I'll admit that I'm not the best sharpener, and I'm not the heaviest use. I don't use my knives that heavy, but I'd say that this is a very welcome addition to, like, people say they have like an EDC and they switch up their knives all the time, and they carry this and that, and they carry trinkets around. I don't really do that. I just carry my wallet and my phone and my headphones, and this just disappears. Like, you put it on your pants and you don't even know it's there. I mean, I know it's there and I use it all the time, but it's like it doesn't get in the way, it doesn't poke, it's very thin, and it slides right away. And I've just been so happy to have this. They're kind of expensive, but that's just what comes with how much effort and time he puts into making these. Another reason why I made the other video, because I just got this Battle Shark in the mail, is that over time the sheath rubs away the finish a little bit, and I don't think he puts a finish on most of his knives. I think most of it is just the heat treat finish. As you can see, mine has the little swirl in it from heat treat. But I think the Battle Shark seems to have a different sort of finish to it, but I could be wrong. He wraps his handles with wrap. He does have some G10 sharks that he makes, and Kara sharks they're screwed in, and they're made by VZ Grips, or I think that's the company's name. And I think the benefit to the wraps mostly is, apart from it just being more personal, I think, and I prefer to getting a wrap from him because of the, I don't know, it's just kind of special in a way. And then also the wraps are done very well. They're done very tight, and he soaks them in a epoxy, so they're not going anywhere. It's not like it's not soupy. I don't know how to explain it, but like on the Battle Shark, on the double ridge wrap, you'd think that this budges in any way. These don't move. Nothing moves. You can push on it however hard you want. None of it moves. Nothing slides. You can dig your hand in there and your nail in there and try and pull. This won't slide. Nothing will slide. He does it really tight. And if you watch a video, I forget who makes the video, but it's him in a blade show, I think in like 2017. I don't know what blade show it was, but you can see all the bandages on his fingers from when he was pulling, making the wraps all tight. And I think that just goes to show how much effort he actually puts into making his knives as functional as possible. And I will say that his knives aren't made to be, beautiful. They're not made to be pretty. I mean, I think they're very pretty and beautiful in their own way. But I was talking to a knife maker before about his knives and showing him his knives, and the guy was like, oh, it's that much money, but the finishes, it's not done right or whatever. And they brought up that his blades looked archaic or whatever. And I mean, I could kind of understand where the guy was coming from, but his blades aren't made to be show pieces. They're really made to be used. And when you pick up one of his knives, it really does feel like a very convenient and useful blade. Like I've never been inconvenienced by carrying my snuggler, and I've putting it away is very easy. It goes right away. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. Over time, the sheath has gotten a little more loose, but that's just from breaking in. And I really recommend you check out his knives if you get the chance. They are very hard to get a hold of, but I think it's definitely worth it. I also think this clip is a little more special than the normal ones. Normally his original clip is normally a more silver color, and this one's very sparkly and dark gray. I think this one might be one of the Parkerized ones, but I'm not sure. Not completely sure about that. But I mainly just made this video to show off what I have and what I think about them, and maybe there's not a lot of videos on YouTube about them. If you're interested in something more specific, this was very unprofessional and not a very good video. But I'm not used to making videos like this showing knives, because I don't have a lot of knives. I carry and use what I have, and I would say that so far from Dan, I'll be following him, and I'll be making sure I get in on every chance I can get on one of his blades, and I think you should definitely check him out when you get the chance. Bye.